Well, Candace, your summary of how things are going with the national parties really also sums up exactly what we got in statements from Virginia's congressional delegation.
Officer Sicknick was beaten to death trying to protect the temple of democracy.
Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger says President Trump must be held accountable for his words and actions, saying he incited some of his supporters who violently stormed the U.S. Capitol this week.
If this president doesn't resign, if the vice president doesn't invoke the 25th Amendment, I want to make sure that the history books from now until the future recognize that there were members of Congress on both sides of the aisle who stood up and said, this is unacceptable behavior. This is a line drawn in the sand.
If the House, controlled by Democrats, votes to impeach President Trump again, legal experts are mixed on what that would mean moving forward. The Constitution requires a two-thirds majority in the Senate to convict President Trump, and only through conviction could he be barred from running for office again. In a statement to CBS 6, Southwest Virginia Republican Morgan Griffith says impeachment proceedings are not reasonable. Quote, the demands of the process to impeach, hold a fair trial, and remove a president could not be reasonably fulfilled in the remaining few days of President Trump's administration. He continues, quote, President-elect Biden has called for unity, but the drive to impeach President Trump this late in his term will fuel disunity.
It is, in fact, not a partisan issue.
Spanberger points to a letter signed by 24 former Republican members of Congress, including 2 from Virginia, who are calling for the president's impeachment.
There is really not space for opinions when it comes to a violent attack on the United States Capitol. There's no space for opinions when it comes to someone who would act as an authoritarian, attempting to hold on to power at any cost.
Republican Bob Good said in a statement that President-elect Biden should call for the ending of these impeachment calls, and also he says is the censorship of social media accounts of conservatives. Representative Rob Whitman is the sole Republican who represents the Richmond metro region, and he declined to comment for this story. Working for you in Richmond, Jake Burns, CBS 6 News.